Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm State Representative Tom Weber, and I represent the 64th District, which includes parts of Lake and McHenry counties. We are here today because the people of Illinois, because the people here in Illinois deserve safety, justice, and accountability. But instead, they have been handed a deeply flawed law, the Safety Act, that has failed to deliver on its promises and continues to put families at risk. The Safety Act has stripped judges of their discretion, making it harder to detain dangerous individuals before trial. It has weakened law enforcement's ability to do their jobs effectively, creating confusion and uncertainty in the legal system. And most troubling of all, it has allowed dangerous offenders to walk free, putting innocent lives in danger. One tragic example of this failure is the story of Megan Bos, a young woman whose life was cut short and whose family now faces unimaginable grief. Megan, a 37-year-old woman from Antioch, Illinois, was reported missing in February. Her mother, Jennifer, spent weeks searching for her, posting flyers and praying for her safe return. Tragically, Megan's body was discovered in April, hidden inside a garbage can behind a home in Waukegan. Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, a Mexican national and the suspect in this case, admitted to police that Megan had died in his home, and instead of calling 911, he broke her phone, kept her body in his basement for 2 days, and then moved it outside, allegedly hiding her body in a garbage can for over 50 days. Despite these horrifying details, Mendoza Gonzalez was released from custody because under the Safety Act, the 4 felony charges against him are classified as non-detainable offenses. This means that even though he admitted to hiding Megan's body for weeks, the law did not allow authorities to keep him in custody while awaiting trial. And still not knowing what happened the last moments of Megan's life. Folks, this is not justice, and it sure as hell is not safe. Unfortunately, Megan's story is not an isolated incident. Across Illinois, families are suffering because of this broken Safety Act. Criminals awaiting trial are being released back into our communities, repeat offenders evade accountability, and families like Megan's are left wondering if justice will ever be served. Imagine this was your child. Imagine finding out your daughter was thrown into a garbage can, drenched in bleach, left in somebody's backyard for nearly 2 months. And that person was let out of jail without electronic monitoring. Megan's body was in a bleach-filled trash can for 51 days. Jose Mendoza Gonzalez put her there and was in jail for 2 nights. Would you feel that justice was served? I urge my colleagues in the legislature to act now, to fix this broken system before more families and communities are victimized. Megan Bos's family is here to tell their story. We are here to lift her up and help her mother, Jennifer, tell her story. We talk a lot about the real-world consequences of policies passed here in Springfield, but we want you to hear firsthand the important consequences of these poor policies. And with that, I'd like to pass it along to Megan's mother, Jennifer.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Bos, I'm Megan's mom. On the night of February 19th, Megan left the company of the friends she was with and said she was coming back, but she never did return. At first, I didn't know that she was gone. I didn't think anything of her silence because it wasn't unusual. But after about 10 days without hearing anything from her, I started posting on her Facebook every couple of days, Megan, where are you? Can anybody tell me where Megan is? Just begging for somebody to let me know she was okay, hoping for a response I never got. One day, one of her friends called me and said, you know, we've all been looking for Megan too. And my heart sank because I knew something was wrong. you. I reported Megan missing on March 9th, and for the next month, I hardly slept. We searched day and night along with friends and families, volunteers that we didn't even know, a lot of them. We passed out 1,500 flyers, and they went from northern Wisconsin all the way to southern Chicago. Social media exploded. There were posts and ads everywhere. The news even briefly picked up the story. I really believed that with everybody's hard work, we were going to be able to find her. Four weeks later, officers knocked on my door with news that no mother should ever have to hear. They found Megan, and she was an angel. It wasn't what I hoped for. Excuse me. The man who admitted to being with Megan that night said she had taken some unknown drugs, and when he returned to the room a few minutes later, she was gone. Instead of calling 911, he wrapped her in a blanket and he hid her in his basement for 2 days. Then he placed her in a garbage can and took her outside, where he kept her for 51 days. He said he was scared. He destroyed and got rid of her phone. He poured bleach on her. And for a month, he watched as we frantically searched for her. He ignored the flyers. There were flyers everywhere with her face on them. He didn't care about what we were going through. He admittedly hid in his house when we knocked on his door. Jose Mendoza Gonzalez had 51 days to do the right thing, but he didn't. He confessed to all of these things, and still, due to how his charges are classified under the Safety Act, he was released the next morning without bail or monitoring. What happens the next time he gets scared? What's he going to be willing to do? We are still waiting for answers today. I don't know how my daughter died. I don't know what's going to show up on the toxicology report. I don't know what went on the last few minutes of her life. What I do know is that under the umbrella of the Safety Act, the man who hid her body in a bleach-filled trash can for 7 weeks still got out of jail free, less than 24 hours after being arrested. We never got to see her again. We never got to hold her hand or give her just one last kiss goodbye. He robbed us of that. He very literally treated her like garbage. And he may have destroyed the very evidence that could explain her final moments to us. And that should matter. It should matter. Megan mattered. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, for your brave words. Good morning, everyone. My name is State Representative Patrick Sheehan. I serve the 37th District, which encompasses Southwest Cook and Southwest Will counties. I stand before you today not only as a member of the Illinois House of Representatives, but as someone who has spent the past 18 years serving and protecting families. I have dedicated my career to law enforcement, responding to calls, witnessing firsthand the aftermath of violent crimes, and doing everything in my power to keep families safe. I wish we weren't here today talking about another tragic loss. Laws should work for the people, not against them. And the truth is, the Safety Act has failed the people of Illinois. It has stripped law enforcement of essential tools, tied the hands of officers who swore to serve an oath, and prioritized criminals over victims. So I ask you, who is the Safety Act protecting? Because it certainly isn't protecting victims. It certainly isn't protecting families, and it's certainly not protecting the people who rely on law enforcement to keep violent criminals off the streets. This is the dangerous reality we warned about. We said from day one that removing cash bail for most crimes, restricting officer discretion, and weakening our ability to uphold the law would come at a cost. How many more lives have to be shattered before we wake up and see what the Safety Act really is? Illinois families deserve better. Megan deserved better. I stand today with Representative Weber, Megan's loved ones, and with every officer who has ever had to knock on a family's door and deliver heartbreaking news they should never have to deliver. I will continue to fight for public safety. I will continue to advocate for our communities and stand with our law enforcement officers who work day and night to protect the people of Illinois. And I will continue to demand accountability from my fellow lawmakers. No family should endure this kind of grief. No officer should feel powerless in the face of a flawed system. And no law should protect criminals more than the people we swore to defend. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm State Representative Patrick Windhorst. I currently serve as House Republican Floor Leader, and I'm also the ranking Republican on the House Judiciary Criminal Law Committee. Incidents like the one we are describing today have become far too common in Illinois since the elimination of cash bail and changes to pretrial release contained in the Safety Act. As that law was being debated, we warned of the likely negative public safety consequences that would follow the eventual implementation of the Safety Act. What we saw after the law was enacted in 2021 was Democrats bringing back several bills to fix problematic and unworkable provisions in the law. Democrats have come back time and again to add to a list of crimes that could be considered detainable offenses to try and fix the gaps that exist in the detention net. These gaps still exist. The House Republican Truth and Public Safety Working Group has been looking at these issues. I would like to highlight 3 bills. House Bill 1482 expands the detention net to include all felony offenses. This bill would give judges the authority and discretion that the proponents of the Safety Act claim they want judges to have. House Bill 1483 deals with violations of release and how judges can handle defendants who fail to appear after a defendant has been placed on pretrial release. House Bill 1479 allows a judge to revoke pretrial release when a defendant violates the terms of the release. When it comes to no cash bail and pretrial release issues in Illinois, we have some serious problems, as my colleagues and I have outlined today. We're here to work to protect our constituents, to restore public safety and trust in the criminal justice system, and to ensure that no other family has to endure the pain and trauma experienced by the Bos family.